Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, everyone here, I'm going to be showing you guys off this huge build that I've made today. I'm going to tell you right now, did not make this by hand. I spawned in the stuff to use to make it with, but it's a kind of a concept building to help you guys out who are trying to build bases and trying to figure out a good design, and this has got a lot of utility. Anyways, we'll go ahead and get started. So it's split up into three main sections. As you can see, this is the main gateway right here. But you're going to see three gateways when you enter, and you're going to wonder, well, what are these gateways for? Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you the middle one right now. And the middle one's going to be your lower tier. So in other words, like you're going to be splitting your player, your tribe, who is essentially going to inhabit this building, into three different tiers. You're going to have your lowest tiers, which is going to be either your new people, your gatherers, like your stone gatherers, and etc., or people you don't really trust yet. And quite frankly, you don't even have to add them to the tribe. I've actually made a back door right here to where they could actually come through the back. There's supposed to be a gate here, by the way. They can come through the back door instead. You can pin code everything. So you pin code that, pin code this, and then they're in. So they'd only have to go through 3 doors pin coded in order to get in. And so that way you could have kind of a trial / testing period for the people you'd like to test on whether or not you want them in your tribe or not. So they couldn't cause any major harm to the rest of the building, and they would be able to live here without having to just not be affiliated with anyone else. So in other words, or you could even create a second tribe for the lower tier players, and they could inhabit this bottom part of the building or the back entrance for the second tier tribes, so they don't have to bother with the pin codes. Anyways, just some concepts. But as you can see here, there's a lot of little rooms all through here. There's a total of 24. So on your bottom layer, you're gonna have a total of 24 little what I call like noob rooms or low-level player rooms. And as you can see, there's a bunch of them. But here's an example room I've created right here, and this is gonna be like your basic what you need if you're gonna be a low-level tribe member. You're gonna need a chest to store your armors and all your items and etc. You're going to need a campfire to cook your stuff. A preserving bin you don't really need, but it's nice so you can keep food, you can keep all kinds of other stuff, and a mortar and pestle. And that's going to be your essential things for a little newbie player within a base, and I think that's going to be really well. So now that I've covered that, I think a good thing to go ahead and cover is how the overall building's kind of designed. It's designed to not only protect you from the outside, from your enemies, but also from within. So if you ever have a tribe member who deserts the tribe or tries to betray you, that's the reason we have the low-level members at the very bottom. It's going to be difficult for them to be able to get pushed upwards and get to the higher-level players, but it's also going to be difficult for them to break in to other low-level member rooms. But I do realize this building would be ridiculously expensive if you built it all in stone and would take you years to build, which is why the whole interior of the building doesn't have to be stone. I just did that to make it easy. The interior of the building could easily be wood, and it would be just as effective as long as the outside is stone. But as you can see here, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 of these little 4 little rooms right here for individual players. So if you had 4 members that you were starting to get to know, you were starting to get to like, you could say, okay, we're going to go ahead and assign you a little crate so you can store dinos. As you can see, it's just large enough to fit a trike. It may be a little small, but as long as you're not sticking out, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I mean, they should be able to easily work within the space and not have a problem. And so you can easily fit that. Parasaur, I have an example right here. Parasaur fits with ease. It's not even close. But not only is there plenty of room in these things to put a Parasaur or something, they can also have like a little storage room up here. You could even make this their little noob base. Instead of having a room, they could just have this little thing as a base. But anyways, that way they have a storage box up here to put their, if they wanted to take their saddle off their animal and put it up here to be safer, and put a little hatch here, that worked too. But I would suggest not letting your low levels actually have access to building or no snap points, etc. within the building. Anyways, this is a larger communal little pin. So this will be a good area if you wanted to have your other 24 little noobs in these little rooms to have access to a bigger pin. They could have this little pin. And this pin is plenty big to hold a few different trikes, some raptors, sabers, but you have to set limits on like the kind of dinosaurs they can bring in. You don't want one noob with a T-Rex taking up that entire room, as well as having his head stick halfway through the wall, because that would just be annoying. Alright, so that's basically the low-level room. Oh, I did miss two things. Your low-level room is also going to have your crafting room. So it's going to have all kinds of supplies here, access to all kinds of supplies, so that way they don't have a furnace or smithy or anything like that in the room. That way they can actually have it just here and everyone can use it. And we also have a bedroom. And so you don't want beds in your individual rooms, because then people could just teleport into them and then take their items and then break their way out. It kind of defeats the purpose of having the little room separated off. So I created a little room with a bunch of beds. You could obviously place way more if you wanted to, or you could have less. And if you did the two tribe idea, you could have one row for one tribe, one row for another, and etc. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and move on now. And this is set up for a primitive server. You could obviously change up what's in here, put a generator, etc. for a modern server. It's really not much of a difference at the moment. You could even make all of this metal, but that would be kind of a dream, I would say. Kind of ridiculous one at this point in time. Alright, so this is going to be your second tier level. This is going to be your higher up, or your trusted tribe members, and it's much more secure. But as you can see, all of these things kind of encircle the base. So what you wind up with, if you were to look at it from a bird's eye view, like straight on, you'd see the entire interior of the base is where all the good stuff is, and the entire outside is where just the pathways are. So in order to break in and actually steal stuff from this base, you have to break through one level and get into the pathway, then break through the next level to get into the actual base. So it's a two-tier defense system. And once I actually create the fortified version of this base, it'll be a three-tier defense system. Anyways, you're going to come up that little ramp on the right, and you're going to appear in this room. And this room is absolutely huge, as you can tell. But it's going to have your higher tier crates. So this is where for your trusted members. This is a weird shaped one. That's the only weird shaped one in this entire level. But we're going to have this one right here. As you can see, it's just big enough to fit a stego. And some of your bigger dinosaurs. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long and about 3 wide, because most dinosaurs are much longer than they are wide. You could put them diagonally; he wouldn't be sticking out at all. But this is your middle tier room, like your trusted members' rooms, like dino rooms. As you can see, I created a little ladder to come up here with the same kind of idea, but you can actually put a bird up here. So instead of having your bird down there with all the other stuff, you could even extend this one further out and have a little bird down here. Up here. It'd be much easier. Now we're going to move on, and there's 3 rooms in the trusted pin that are much larger than the others, and so these are 4x4s, and they also have their own little storage room right here. So these 4x4s are going to be much bigger. So perhaps your top 3 trusted members or your top 3 middle tier members are going to get these rooms, as well as this really cool, intimidating looking one with the ramps going up to it. It's still a 4x4, but it just looks cool, and that's kind of how it fit with the gates being below it. Anyways, as we go over here now, we're going to go ahead and go up to the middle tier room. So you have to come through this middle tier, this outside thing with your dinos to get all the way up here. And then once you're in your little dino pin, you can drop your dino off, or if you don't have a dino, you can just run, and you can just you can come straight up here. There's a stairway here, and there's a ramps going around here, just cause. I meant ladderway. You know what I meant. Alright, so this is going to bring you in to your tier 2 rooms. And back here, you could create a little storage area. Honestly, you don't need all this stuff going on here. You could even create like a little communal storage area among the second tier of people. But as you can see right here, these rooms are significantly larger than your little 1x2s down there on the first floor. So these guys are going to have much larger rooms. So these are going to be your it's 4x3s. So these are going to be pretty huge rooms. They can put really whatever they want in there. Multiple furnaces. They could put fabricators. They could put literally everything in the world you need. You can, just for an example for how high up we are at this point, we're pretty high up. That rock kind of destroys the image of how high we are, because you can't really tell with that rock there. But we are pretty high up at this point in time. So it's going to be very difficult to break into this high level room. But as you can see right here, these 3 rooms on the end are a little different. These 3 rooms on the end are going to be for your highest tier players. You can see they're a little larger. These are 4x4s instead of 3x3s or 4x3s. And as you can tell in this one, I've created an example, but these actually go straight up into your highest tier dino bins. As you see, when I climb up here, you're going to pop up in this absolutely massive dino bin. And there's 3 of these on the very top layer, and this one's got a little weird thing where the stairs come up. You can actually put a little bird thing up there, a bird's nest, whatever you'd like. As you can see, there's 3 different sections right here. This one being the largest, and you can tell from the scale of this Rex, you could fit literally anything in here. And the Rexes can go through these little gates, so you don't have the problem with needing the huge gates. You can fit literally every single dino in here, besides water dinosaurs, obviously, the Spinosaur, and the Bronto. So I believe every other dinosaur, and the Mammoth. I don't think the Mammoth will fit either, but I think every other one will fit in here. So that's going to be really nice. So you're going to have your top 3 players. You're going to have your top 2 admins and possibly the leader in these absolutely massive bins. And each of them in the room is going to have a ladder straight up to their bins, so no one else has even got a chance of going out. But the way you're going to come out of this is you're going to see these 3 huge bins. You're going to come out down this little ramp. This is where the door that leads to the left side. So when I get down here, oops, you can tell we're back into the main lobby right here. And if you were to come in from the outside, because I know you're probably getting a little turnaround at this point. If you come in from the outside and you go left, that is going to be your biggest, or your admin room, admin dino room. But this is a pretty steep ramp, because it's actually really high up in the air at this point. Where these rooms are, so you're gonna have 3 huge, absolutely huge rooms. If you wanna share these or do whatever you like, obviously, if you build this building, you can do whatever you want with it. This is just a conceptual suggestion. So the pluses of this, and this is just a storage room, and you could even create an aviary on top, like a separate aviary, and make it completely different. But the reason this building is built the way it is to not only, as I said, not only defend you from the outside, but also defend you from within. Not always do you, people are usually like, you know, I trust my tribe members, they're not going to do anything. But I mean, if you ever want to be able to expand your tribe, this is more of an expansionist build, to where you can have all your low tier players on the bottom who have no access to anything higher up, but they have all they need down here. And so it's really an expansionist build. So if you want to have one of these massive tribes, or you want to have potential to grow your tribe, this is the kind of building you're going to need to build. One that can protect you from your own tribe members that you don't trust, and one that'll protect you from the outside. Because on the outside, I mean, even if someone were to betray you and say they joined your tribe and then intended to betray you, they went ahead and opened up all these gates, and they're like, oh, well, we have access to all this low-level stuff on the bottom. It's like, all right, what you gonna do now? You can come back up, because it's just as hard to get in now, because you still got to break through this gate, then come all the way up and around, all the way through here. Because there is no point where you can stand on the bottom, because there's such high ceilings where you can stand on the bottom and just try to hack away at this next floor. And even if you do hack away at the next floor, that's the next dino room. You're going to be right into another hallway. It's not going to help. So it's a very, very well designed building, I'd say, in my personal opinion. This is the only area where it's not a double wall, and I think I'm going to go ahead and expand this out and just make it go ahead and surround this whole thing with spikes. I was going to make another layer just with spikes all around this entire base, and obviously on top of the base as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a bird's eye view really quickly of this mega base, I'd like to call it, because as you can tell, it's pretty massive. The amount of resources it takes to build is tremendous. I will admit that. So I really would not suggest building the entire thing in a stone. Encasing it in a stone case would be the best way to do it, and having wood on the inside. But as you can see, it's fairly large. You build whatever, you can even build guard towers up here if you'd like, or it comes straight up from the bottom. For example, you could have a ladder that goes all the way straight to the top, so even your noobs could get on the very top with a guard tower on top of it, so that way you could actually have a better defense positions. You can actually defend when you're being attacked. And not only is the advantage having just a huge building, so I mean, it splits up your resources. And they can't just come into one big storage room and take everything you have. All the resources are going to spread out through all of your rooms. They're going to have all over the place. They can't just take your resources and walk away. And not only that, but with such a huge amount of rooms and people, there's always going to be someone on. Odds are extremely in your favor of someone always be there to defend your base, and always being there so they can actually fight back. So obviously you're going to need to put some rules in place about not opening doors when enemies are there, and blah blah blah. But there's just a huge amount of potential if you were to build something like this, and it's not something you have to build all at once either. This is the last little part I'll cover. Don't mean to ramble on for too long, but you could easily create this just the bottom floor for a while, or even create it a little bit at a time. For example, you don't even need the outer gate system. You could create this is your first gate, and this is your second gate. This is one of the very ends, and you can just create the interior part with all the little noob rooms. And then once getting more people, they start gathering more stone. You could create a rent system, put a little box outside their room and charge them a certain amount a week or something, I don't know. And you could start expanding upwards once you start getting more resources, but you don't have to build it all at once, and that's part of what makes it such a great design. I'm going to go ahead and try to calculate up about how much stone it'd take to make just the bottom floor and etc. In the description of this video. It may take me a little while to figure that out. But anyways guys, thanks for watching through this video. If you made it to this point, I'm pretty proud of you, because I know I did ramble a lot. But once again, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more. If you have your own builds you'd like to post, or you'd like me to review or look at or etc., please let me know. And I'll see you guys next time.